Hello. hope hope this is okay. Welcome to my first review of a film on YouTube. I hope it goes well. Uh, Today I'm going to review a film that I just saw yesterday, the new Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Just want to say, quick disclaimer: I will not be spoiling it, so do not worry about that. I mean, if you don't want to know anything about this film, then of course, but pleasure not to watch the video. But yeah, don't worry, no spoilers incoming. Just to warn. So I'm a massive Marvel fan. I've seen every single MCU project, TV shows, even the stuff like Netflix, like Cloak and Dagger. I've seen them all. So of course I was going to see this film. This was my most anticipated film of the year, and I got to say that this film was better than the first Doctor Strange by far. Not the best MCU film, but certainly a solid film. Um, so let's start with the positives. I think overall the characters and the plot very, very good. The good thing about the MCU now, I've seen with Moon Knight as well. They're not afraid to get weird with it now and start growing up. This is essentially the first horror film in the MCU, and there were some genuine moments which creeped me out. And it's really good that director Sam Raimi added this style to it. He's brilliant at horror. You've seen it with the Evil Dead films, and it genuinely creeped me out. And the plot is really weird. You know, going through all these different universes, it was great. The characters, brilliant. I think Wanda is probably one of the best villains we've had in the MCU in this phase, phase 4. I think she has a brilliant motivation. And it's really understandable and it's emotional. She kind of has a similar arc to Doctor Strange as well. This film is basically saying that we can't have everything we want in life. We just have to accept that. And I think that's a good message to send. And it's great how this movie presented it. And it was just really good. And the newcomer, America Chavez, I think she was a really good character. She's made a good first impression of me. I think she's got a great backstory, a great arc. I think her power is really good, actually. It's a bit overpowered, and this is a nitpick I will say later. But I really liked her. So I think if you're a big Marvel fan, you'll really like her and accept her into the MCU. Yeah, the acting overall, brilliant. We all know Benedict Cumberbatch is great as Doctor Strange. We all know that. But I've got to say, Elizabeth Olsen, wow, she is probably been the best she's been in the MCU. She was brilliant, best thing she's played in the MCU. So she was really the highlight of this film to me. The cameos? There is a bit of fan service in this film. Don't get me wrong, it was nice to see. I'm not going to say who. I mean, we already know at least one, maybe two, from the trailers. If you've seen them, you know who I'm talking about, and it was really nice to see that. There was also one cameo which didn't add anything to the story, but it was just nice to see it. That's all I'm going to say. It's in the second post-credit scene. This film has 2 post-credit scenes, just by the way. I thought it was hilarious. This film is actually really hilarious. Most of the jokes do land. It's placed in the right parts. It doesn't affect the emotional moments. And I think they did well with the humour. It landed mostly. What else? The action. Action held a lot of emotion. And I also think it was very entertaining to watch. There is actually a lot of action in this film, believe it or not. So for a 2-hour film, I think there's probably about half an hour worth of action, which is really good, really. I was not expecting that. From the trailers, it didn't look like it. Mostly thought it was going to be talking, and I kind of wanted something like that, just to bring this film down to earth a little bit. But it won me over, actually, with the amount of action, and I really enjoyed it. The effects were whoa. I saw this film 3D last night, and wow, I think it made the experience a lot better. If you see this film in cinemas, I'd highly suggest seeing it in 3D if you can, because wow, it was just brilliant. loads of the effects just are beautiful. The way they've travelled through the multiverse, it was amazing. The different universes look beautiful, and it had some good world building. All these universes, like they go to this one universe halfway through the film, and it's great world building. We understand what goes on there, how it works. I'm only there for about 20 minutes, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I also think, and this is probably one of the biggest positives, this was a problem I had with the first Doctor Strange. The relationship between Doctor Strange and Christine Palmer wasn't fleshed out, and I didn't care for her character at all. But this film fixes that. This film makes me care about Rachel Palmer, Christine Palmer, sorry. And I think she's a brilliant character now. And I think Benedict Cumberbatch and Rachel McAdams have some good chemistry. I think they work well. And I actually wanted them to get together. And it was just great. I was like, finally, I get to care about the character. It was a great improvement. I think that's pretty much it for the positives. So let's go into the negatives. I think the biggest negative is the pacing. This film is about, I think it's just over 2 hours long, and it felt like a 2.5 hour film, unfortunately. And it's weird because no scenes fell out of place. It's just that they went on a bit too long. It just felt like Marvel wanted that 2 hour runtime. And, you didn't need to, but I mean, that was just a bit of a problem. I just noticed that some things were just stretched out a little bit. The next big negative is the fan service. Now, it was very good seeing all this fan service, great to see some of these characters. But the thing that was wrong was that the characters didn't do anything. Apart from one, but even then, what they did didn't really do much. Which is a problem. At least with Spider-Man No Way Home, the characters did something, and they had development explained. The problem is with these characters, they do have a little tiny bit of development, but there's no layers to it, and that's the problem with that. And that's why I think that Spider-Man No Way Home did it better. And I did say that if they wanted to do all this multiverse stuff, they had to get No Way Home right. Because Spider-Man is my favourite superhero. So, yeah, they had a lot riding on this film. But overall, I like the fan service. So, I'll accept it. This is a spoiler, so I'm not going to say what it is, so don't panic. But there was one moment earlier in the film where I thought it was going to be a nod to a lovely bit of tension later in the film. And it didn't do anything, and I just sat there thinking, well, why was it in the film? But that was one thing. You'll probably notice it. It's something that happens with Doctor Strange. That's all I'm saying. I find this is just a small nitpick. America Chavez powers. For me, she could have used this power whenever she wanted. Really, near enough. I'm not going to say why, but there's just a few nitpicks where I thought, well, why didn't you just do that? Why didn't you just do that? You could have got out of this situation like near now. And that was just a nitpick that I had, really. But overall, I really did love this film. This was better than the first Doctor Strange. It's not as good as No Way Home. I think No Way Home is just brilliant. But this film has a lot riding for it. A great plot, great characters, fantastic special effects. The acting's brilliant, especially from Elizabeth Olsen. I think she's brilliant in this. It introduces great fan service, even though it's underdeveloped. I think the action holds a lot of emotion. I think this film is very funny. Humour's placed in the right places. Just apart from some pacing issues, fan service that didn't do anything much, and a few moments where a bit nitpicky. I really did love this film. It's just that those things bogged it down. So overall, I'm going to give Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness a good solid 8 out of 10. I think that's a fair score, especially with the negatives that I had. So yeah, one thing I will be doing next, I will be reviewing everything I've seen in 2022, everything that's released in 2022. I have seen a few things, so films, TV shows. I will be reviewing Moon Knight next. So yeah, I hope that this review was a good first review. It took me a lot of confidence to do this, and I hopefully do more. So, don't forget to check out my letterbox. I'll leave a link to it in the description, and my IMDb. I hope you all have a good day. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.